The evening when Jesus healed many. A night of compassion at the door. Evening had come to Capernaum. Earlier that day, Jesus had taught in the synagogue and later entered the house of Simon and Andrew, where Simon's mother-in-law was healed from a high fever. Then the sun began to set. Mark writes that when evening came, after sunset, people brought to Jesus all who were sick and those troubled by demons. Luke says that at sunset, people brought to him those suffering from various kinds of diseases. Matthew also records that when evening came, many were brought to Jesus. The doorway became a gathering place for people carrying pain, weakness, fear, and hope. Mark gives us a vivid description. The whole town gathered at the door. This does not need to mean every resident was literally present. A very large number of people came. Some were sick, some were suffering in ways the Gospels clearly describe as demonic oppression. Others were family members who had brought them. The Gospels do not tell us every name or every illness, so we should not invent details. What they do show is clear. Many people came carrying many kinds of suffering, and Jesus did not turn them away. Luke gives us one especially personal detail. He says that Jesus laid his hands on each one of them and healed them. Each one. The crowd was large, but the care was personal. The people were not merely a mass. Each person had a real burden. Jesus could see the crowd without losing sight of the individual. Luke's wording slows us down. Jesus laid his hands on each one. His authority was personal, and his power was joined with compassion. Mark says that Jesus healed many who had various diseases. Luke says he healed those who were brought to him. Matthew says he healed the sick who came in that setting. The Gospel writers use slightly different wording, but the picture is consistent. Many people with different kinds of illness experienced healing that evening. Matthew connects this healing ministry with the words of Isaiah. He took up our infirmities and bore our diseases. Matthew sees the healings of Jesus as part of the larger picture of his mission. Jesus did not remain distant from human weakness. He entered a world where bodies become tired, sick, injured, and frail. He did not treat physical suffering as unimportant. He cared about the whole person. At the same time, this passage should not be turned into a formula saying that every faithful person will always be healed immediately. That would go beyond what Scripture teaches. The Bible includes faithful people who experienced weakness, sickness, and long seasons of suffering. So we should not use these stories to accuse a sick person of lacking faith. We should not say, "If you believed more, you would already be healed." That is not what this passage says. The focus is not on measuring the faith of the people at the door. The focus is on the authority and compassion of Jesus. People came to him in need. He cared for them. And in that evening in Capernaum, many were healed. The Gospels also tell us that demons came out of many people. Luke says that some cried out, "You are the Son of God." But Jesus rebuked them and would not allow them to speak. Mark similarly says that he would not let the demons speak because they knew who he was. This is consistent with the earlier scene in the synagogue. There, an unclean spirit had recognized Jesus and called him the Holy One of God. But Jesus silenced it. Again, Jesus did not need the testimony of evil spirits. He would not allow them to control the message about who he was. The authority remained with Jesus. The demons spoke. Jesus silenced them. They resisted. Jesus commanded them to leave. The noise did not have the final word. Jesus did. We should also notice that the Gospels distinguish disease from demonic oppression. They mention the sick and the demonized separately. That distinction is important. We should not label every physical illness, emotional struggle, or mental health condition as demonic. Scripture itself does not do that. When someone is physically ill, medical care can be necessary. When someone is struggling emotionally or mentally, professional help can be wise and important. Faith is not the rejection of practical care. Compassion should make us more responsible, not less. The people who brought others to Jesus also deserve our attention. The text says people brought the sick to him. Not everyone came alone. Scripture does not tell us exactly how each person was supported, so we should not add details. But suffering people were being helped by others. We cannot heal people by our own power, but we can notice, accompany, pray, help someone seek treatment, or simply refuse to let someone carry a burden alone. The people who brought the sick to Jesus remind us that care can be shared. There is also a striking contrast between the size of the crowd and Luke's phrase, each one. The whole town seemed to gather at the door, yet Jesus laid his hands on each person. Many and one, crowd and individual, neither was lost. We may wonder whether our pain matters when so many others are suffering. Our own problem can feel too small to mention when others seem to suffer more. But the compassion of Jesus is not based on comparison. Another person's greater pain does not make our pain unreal. Again, this does not mean every request receives the exact outcome we want. But it does mean we do not have to decide that our need is too small to bring before God. The evening at the door also shows us what kind of authority Jesus has. He did not use power to humiliate the weak or draw attention to himself. He used it to restore. Human authority can become a way to control, but Jesus' authority moves in another direction. It confronts what harms people, restores what is broken, and serves life. This gives us a standard for whatever influence we have. Does our strength make the weak feel smaller, or does it help them stand? Jesus shows authority without cruelty and power joined with mercy. The next episode will show another important part of Jesus' life. He would go to a solitary place, and prayer would remain central even while people were looking for him. But that belongs to the next scene. Here, we remain in the evening. We remain at the doorway. We remain with the people who came carrying the sick. This episode is not about withdrawing from the crowd. It is about how Jesus met them when they came. People arriving, illnesses being brought forward, unclean spirits being silenced, hands being laid on individuals, people leaving change. But beneath all that movement is one steady truth. Jesus is not repelled by human weakness. He is not frightened by darkness. He does not lose the individual inside the crowd. His authority remains calm. His compassion remains personal. This combination is one of the most beautiful things in the Gospels. Power without compassion can become frightening. Compassion without power may feel helpless. But in Jesus, authority and mercy are not separated. He is strong enough to confront what enslaves, and gentle enough to come near to the suffering person. Matthew's quotation from Isaiah also points beyond immediate relief. He took up our infirmities and bore our diseases. The healings are signs of a larger mission. Jesus came into the brokenness of human life rather than staying at a safe distance from it. Even here, at a doorway in Capernaum, we see the pattern. He moves towards suffering. He restores what has been damaged. This should shape the way we think about suffering people. Pain is not an inconvenience to dismiss. Illness is not a moral failure. Weakness is not something to mock. A person in need is still a person with dignity. The sick are not projects. The grieving are not problems to solve. Those struggling with mental health are not labels. The example of Jesus calls us to care without contempt, to help without making someone feel ashamed for needing help, to pray without making false promises, to encourage treatment when treatment is needed, to remain present when there is no quick solution. Receiving help is part of the story too. There are seasons when we carry others and seasons when others carry us. Needing help does not remove dignity. The evening also reminds us that compassion can be repetitive. Another person, another need, another prayer, another act of care. Love is often quieter than we imagine. It can be steady attention over time. The story also gives us a way to think about hope. Hope is not pretending that suffering is unreal. The people came because the suffering was real. The illnesses were real. The oppression was real. Hope entered because Jesus was present in the middle of that reality. Christian hope is not denial. It is trust that pain does not have the final authority. In that evening, many people experienced visible healing. In our lives, some answers come quickly and others do not. Some wounds heal slowly. Some illnesses remain. Some prayers continue for years. This passage does not give us a formula for controlling outcomes. but it gives us a picture of the character of Jesus. He is not indifferent. He is not cruel. He is not embarrassed by weakness. He moves toward people in need. When we do not understand why healing has not come, we should be careful with easy explanations. The Bible does not reduce every case of suffering to one cause. So humility is necessary. We can pray boldly, speak gently, and hope deeply without making guarantees God has not made. The evening at Capernaum shows us Jesus among suffering people. Many came. He received them. Many were sick. He healed. Demons cried out. He silenced them. The crowd was large. He touched individuals. The night was full of need. His compassion did not become impersonal. That is the image worth carrying with us. A doorway crowded with people. Families bringing those they love. Different kinds of suffering. And Jesus meeting people one by one. The story does not tell us how late the hour became or describe the final person who left. It gives us enough to understand what kind of evening this was. A night when suffering came into the open. A night when people carried one another toward help. A night when the authority of Jesus was seen not only in teaching but in restoration. A night when a crowd did not erase the value of the individual. And a night when compassion remained personal even when the need was great. May we today bring our own weakness to Jesus without shame. Refuse to judge the suffering of others. Learn to see the individual inside the crowd, and use whatever strength, time, or influence we have to care for people with the same dignity, patience, and compassion we see in Him.